I'd like to begin by thanking individuals such as Ross, alongside other subscribers and associates for bringing this to my attention. You've seen it, I've seen it, so let's address it directly, without detour. As some of you may be aware, one of the more prominent figures among these so-called Tiger fans, that being Theropod, has recently published a follow-up video, what he calls a closer look. However, his response is riddled with logical inconsistencies, factual omissions, and poorly constructed rebuttals, and strategically misleading framing. I'm going to break this down in a clear, methodical manner so everyone could follow. On May 30th, Theropod posted his first review. On June 6th, that's when I posted my video. And then on June 30th, he released his so-called follow-up or closer look video. Now this timeline is very important because Theropod's latest response only further illustrates his unwillingness to take accountability for spreading misinformation and his failure to properly verify his sources and claims. Now here's a comparative breakdown of what was explicitly stated in both of our videos, word for word. At 106 to 110 in Theropod's first video, he states this particular lioness died shortly after this encounter. At 319 to 327 in my video, I stated, so not only was Queen never in the cage, the video in question is months prior, and the lion cub in the video did not die. This was also supported by evidence showing that the lioness is in fact alive. Then in Theropod's newest video, at 23 seconds to 30 seconds, he opens with, it looks like the lion fans became so focused on the topic of whether the lioness had died or not, that they begin to miss important things in the video. Now, this is an interesting response, because in his first video, Theropod stated with absolute certainty that the lioness died shortly after that same encounter. No ambiguity, no suggestion that this was speculative. It was framed as a fact. But here's the problem with that. There is no official confirmation for that claim, no autopsy report, no veterinary documentation, no credible evidence. Yet he presented it to his audience as indisputable truth. That one line, delivered so casually, reveals everything about the integrity of his video. Rather than verify the details, he chose to amplify a false narrative, pushing unconfirmed claims to hundreds, potentially thousands of viewers. What he offered wasn't a proper review. It was a recklessly sourced, emotionally framed review that traded accuracy for virality. In my video, every claim was fact-checked, supported by verifiable sources, and backed by demonstrable evidence. Not one of my statements were speculative. Not one fact was distorted. I upheld the standard of accuracy expected in serious coverage of these accounts. Now, consider this. In his second video, rather than address or correct his previous claim about the lioness's death, he shifts the narrative. He implies that lion fans were overly focused on the detail, as though the concern over a false claim he originated is somehow misplaced. This is a classic deflection tactic. It's the intellectual equivalent of moving the goalpost. He fabricates a weaker, misrepresented version of the argument and attacks that instead. More importantly, throughout the entirety of his 4-minute response, he never once acknowledges his original falsehood. No correction, no accountability, no clarification. Instead, he subtly blames others for focusing on the very misinformation he introduced. He was the one who stated without doubt or hesitation that the lioness died shortly after this encounter. Then in his follow-up video, he pretends the statement was never made. He acts as though those correcting him are somehow misrepresenting the issue. This is not just evasion, this is downright gaslighting. When someone like Theropod propagates misinformation and then turns around to suggest that others are at fault for focusing on it, they are no longer engaging in analysis or review, they are manipulating the narrative. This comparative breakdown illustrates the complete absence of accountability and the extent of misinformation often pushed by creators like Theropod. This is the most important part of this response, and it demands the audience's full attention. Now, let's examine his actual content in his response. Unsurprisingly, he shifts focus to a trivial fragment of the footage. His primary argument revolves around the notion that the fight was initially a 1v1 before it became unfair. This apparently is the important things that Lion fans missed. I'm going to make myself very clear. This video is approximately 1 minute and 30 seconds long. Theropod focuses on the first 5 seconds to argue this point, using a blurry, low-resolution still frame as evidence with no clear detail can be discerned. Conveniently, he excludes the segment from 7 seconds to 49 seconds, a significantly longer portion where another tiger is visibly seen attacking the lioness. This is 46% of the video, yet Theropod opts to stretch the first 5% of the video for an entire 4-minute argument. That's 4 minutes of my life I can never get back. The math speaks for itself. This right here is cherry picking at its finest. And his point, this supposed justification for a fair fight, doesn't even challenge the core argument. The presence of multiple tigers mauling the lioness is not up for debate. It's plainly visible. It's factual. Bringing up what may or may not have occurred in the first 5 seconds does not refute what is clearly seen in the next 40 plus seconds. Furthermore, the blurry screenshot he uses is so degraded that if shown to a neutral observer, they would have no idea what they are looking at. When reviewing the same portion of the video myself, we can clearly distinguish the lioness. Tiger number 1 is the one who's choking her, and tiger number 2, who is either beside or more likely behind tiger 1 with a crouched posture. You can literally see how his back is bent or his spine is curved. Yet Theropod definitively claims that the tiger wasn't doing anything. No proof, no clarity, just another assertion lacking evidence. From the camera angle, lighting, and the windshield obstruction, it's entirely plausible that tiger number 2 was biting the lioness's rear, a conclusion that's consistent with subsequent movements in the video. At one point, tiger 2 lowers itself in near synchrony with tiger 1, while tiger 3 approaches. And notably, as soon as tiger number 3 enters the frame, it immediately attacks. No hesitation, no investigative behavior, no signs of uncertainty. It joins the attack instantly, which would indicate coordination. Theropod even admits in passing that the footage is incomplete, and that the argument could be made that other tigers could have been involved earlier in the segment which was not recorded, but then immediately weakens this admission with the phrase, "as far as we are aware." It's a classic weasel phrase used to sidestep full responsibility while appearing impartial. This undermines the entire point of his closer look video. If he acknowledges that other tigers could have been involved earlier in the segment that was not recorded, then his own premise collapses. The entire video itself becomes self-defeating. Let's make this very clear. My video isn't just another opinion, it's a definitive analysis on the matter. It stands leagues above anything else in this community, offering the most analytically robust, evidence-based, logically structured breakdown available. While others speculate or cherry-pick, my video dissects the entire narrative, exposes every inconsistency, and resets the standard of discourse with clarity and precision.